in the sky, carried by his swan airplane, Hiranyakashipu was extremely pleased. He immediately fell flat with his head on the ground and began to express his obligation to the Lord. So this is a very important shloka because we see here that even this great demon, Hiranyakashipu, is behaving according to Vedic culture. When he sees Lord Brahma approaching, immediately he offers Dandavat pranams. And his head is touching the ground. He's taking very humble position. And he's very happy. He's so happy to see Lord Brahma coming. So this is the mood of a Vaishnava. Whenever we see another Vaishnava, we are immediately very happy, and we immediately offer Dandavat pranams. This is what Srila Prabhupada taught us. And I remember when I first came to the ISKCON temple in London in 1972, I was already following another guru. I was following a different yoga practice. But I had seen the devotees on Harinam Sankirtan, and they gave me a card, told me to come to visit the temple, that Srila Prabhupada would be there. So I was always interested to meet different gurus, so I went. One of the things I noticed that I never saw in any other ashram, because I went to so many ashrams, so many gurus, because I was looking for my eternal guru. But in the ISKCON ashram, everyone offered pranams to each other. They were always offering Dandavat pranams. And I was very much struck by that. Because I had read, even though I was studying from Mayavad gurus, in the Mayavad Shastras, it does say that the symptom of knowledge is humility. They also acknowledge this. So when I saw the devotees always offering Dandavat pranams to each other, I thought these people have knowledge because they're humble. So I became interested to learn from them. So, not that I was a devotee or anything. I was a yogi trying to understand what is God and go back to the spiritual world. I was a seeker, but when I saw how humble the devotees were, I was impressed. Just like Hiranyakashipu. If we were there and we saw Hiranyakashipu offering Dandavat pranams, we would also be pleased. And he's recognizing Lord Brahma as the supreme demigod. So he's offering Dandavat pranams, and he's very pleased about seeing it. So in the purport, Prabhupada refers to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, slokas 23 and 24. Ye pyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayan vitah deti mam eva kaunteya yajantya vidhi purvakam aham hi sarva yajnanam bhakta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijanante tattena tastavanti te. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. I am the only enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature will fall down. So here we see that Hiranyakashipu, unknowingly, without true understanding, by offering Dandavat Pranams to Lord Brahma is actually offering Dandavat Pranams to Krishna. Because Lord Brahma is the Shishya of Krishna, of Govinda. That's why he's always singing Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is Brahma. So whenever he is receiving Dandavat Pranams from somebody, even Hiranyakashipu, he offers it to Govinda. So this is Vaishnava culture. So in effect, Prabhupada says, Krishna is saying that persons engaged in the worship of demigods are not very intelligent, although such worship is indirectly offered to me. So when Prabhupada says that people who worship the devotees are not very intelligent, it just means that they don't have knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, then you're ignorant, not intelligent. And how do we get knowledge? From three sources: from sadhus, from shastra, and from guru. This is how we get knowledge. If you want knowledge, you begin sadhu, shastra, or guru. And this is how we all came to our understanding of Krishna consciousness. The first thing we got when we were a non-devotee was a book by Srila Prabhupada. Some book was given to us by a sadhu. Who was that sadhu? One of the members of this temple gave a book. So I got knowledge from the sadhu who gave me the shastra, and I read that shastra, which was given complete understanding and commentary by His Divine Grace, ACBSP Swami Srila Prabhupada. So that's how all of us became devotees, how we acquired knowledge through sadhu, shastra, and guru, param guru. Srila Prabhupada is everybody's param guru. You have guru and you have param guru. What is the meaning of the word param? Supreme, topmost. So Srila Prabhupada is everybody's topmost guru in this world. One of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers said, after Prabhupada had performed the miracle of fulfilling the prophecy of Lord Chaitanya and spread the holy names to every town and every village all over the world, when Prabhupada's godbrother said that, he said, Shaktavesh Avatar. He was empowered by Krishna. And he said, from now on, for the next 10,000 years, everyone who becomes a devotee is because of Srila Prabhupada. We're indebted to Prabhupada. So he did what no one else could do. Lord Chaitanya, 500 years ago, he said, Pritivite Joto Ache Nagaradigram Sharvatra Prachar Hoive Mornam. But it took 500 years until that was fulfilled. We had to wait 500 years until Srila Prabhupada came. He was the one who was empowered to do it. Empowered by Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. And now I'm going to tell you a story that you've never heard before. How did I hear this? Because I was there. This happened in 1975 in Los Angeles Temple, and I was living in Los Angeles Temple in 1975. And one of my services was, I had many different services. I was going out distributing books. When I was in the temple, one of my services was to go and, after the offering to the deities, to get the plates, transfer the plates, and then bring out the Mahaprasad for all the devotees. That was a very nice service. Everybody liked me. So when Prabhupada came, I also did that service for Srila Prabhupada. I would go up, take his plate, transfer it, and then bring out his remnants to all the devotees. And of course, whenever Srila Prabhupada came to a temple, thousands of devotees would come from all over the country to be there, including many sannyasis. So I got to be very friendly with the sannyasis because they were coming to me to get Prabhupada's Mahaprasad. So one of the devotees who was there was heading up the Sri Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir Sankirtan party. There was a party of devotees from Mayapur who were traveling around America collecting funds to build the temple for Sri Sri Radhamadava. So one of the sannyasis, one day, Prabhupada called for him for a meeting one afternoon at 4 o'clock, and he told me this story. So this is directly after Prabhupada spoke to him, he told me. So he had gone up there. Prabhupada said, so how is everything going? Yes, we're doing our service, and collections are going good. He said, not so good, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, why? And he said, because when we approach people, they say no, they're not interested. And Srila Prabhupada told him, that's normal. For people in Kali Yuga, that's normal. And then Prabhupada said, even I, when Krishna asked me to do this service of fulfilling Lord Chaitanya's mission of spreading the holy name to every town and village, I also said no. And the sannyasi said, really? Prabhupada said, yes. And Krishna asked me, why you're saying no? And Prabhupada said, because if I go down to the material world, I'm afraid that I will forget you. And I don't want to forget you. So I would rather just stay here in the spiritual world with you. So then Krishna told him, well, I promise you, if you go down to the earth planet and spread the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will always be there with you, and you will always know that I am there. This is what Prabhupada told us. Well, he told us, me indirectly, but directly it was coming from Prabhupada. So people in Los Angeles, we knew this. So we already knew that Prabhupada was directly empowered by Krishna, but we didn't know that Prabhupada at the beginning had said, I don't want to do the service because I'm afraid that I will forget you. Don't worry, Krishna said, I'll always be there. You will always know that I'm there with you, so you will never forget me. So then Prabhupada agreed. So this is the mercy of the Lord. And here we see that Hiranyakashipu is also getting the mercy of the Lord through the Lord's representative, his pure devotee, Brahmaji. Because Hiranyakashipu was performing such tapasya that he was so fixed in his tapasya that he wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, wouldn't move. And so the different insects like ants were eating his body and his flesh. And gradually over time, Hiranyakashipu became covered with, like an anthill, with leaves and sand and twigs and everything. And when Lord Brahma first came down, he couldn't see Hiranyakashipu. But then he realized, oh, he must be in that hill. So he came and brushed away everything. And from his kamandalu, he poured some few drops of water on Hiranyakashipu, whose body had been eaten away, and he was simply circulating his life airs, his prana amongst his bones. This is what's described in Shastra. But when he got those few drops from the Kamandalu of Lord Brahma, he became whole again, and he was surcharged with energy. And then he offered Dandavat Pranams to Lord Brahma, which Krishna accepted that he's offering Dandavat Pranams to me, indirectly. Because by offering Dandavat Pranams to the devotee of Krishna, this is the Parampara system, it's offered all the way back to Krishna. So Prabhupada gives an example how this works. For example, when a man pours water on the leaves and branches of a tree without pouring water on the root, he does so without sufficient knowledge or without observing regulative principles. The correct process of watering a tree is to pour water on the root. By pouring water on the root, it automatically goes to all the branches and leaves and flowers and fruits of the tree. Similarly, Prabhupada says, the process of rendering service to different parts of the body is to supply food to the stomach. We supply food to the stomach, and our hands and legs and intelligence, our mind, everything is refreshed. So the demigods are, so to speak, different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers or directors. So here, Prabhupada is explaining that the government is the topmost law-giving body in any country, and the officers and directors within the government, they are subservient. They are just serving the government. So here, Prabhupada is giving an analogy that Krishna is the supreme government, and everyone else in Parampara is an officer or a servitor to the Supreme Lord Krishna. So we are all servitors. Everyone is a servitor. Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishnara Nityadas. What kind of Nityadas? Das, 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 Anudas. We're the servant of the servant of the servant of the Nityadas. We are the Anudas. Anu, the microscopic Das. Anushilanam, the Das who's following in the footsteps of all the other Das. That's our position. And who is everybody else? Everyone else is Prabhu. I am not Prabhu. Everybody else is Prabhu. This is our Vedic culture. And everyone sees each other as Prabhu and oneself as Das. And this is how we establish harmony amongst people in the material world. Because in the material world, there is no harmony due to ahankara. What does ahankara mean? Well, Krishna gives a very good example, very good explanation. Ahankara vimudatma. He says that the Atma, due to ahankara, behaves like a muda. Not a normal muda, vimuda, the biggest muda of all the mudas. This is what Krishna sees when we show our ahankara. I become puffed up. I'm thinking I'm wonderful, and Krishna's thinking, who is this muda? So this is our ignorance. We don't see, when we have this ahankara, we don't see that Krishna is looking at us as if we are muda. And I'm thinking, I'm so wonderful. Therefore, das, 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 anudas, this is reality. We are always the das in the material world. We're always the das in the spiritual world. We're never Prabhu. We're always das. But to be das is glorious. Therefore, when we say das, 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 anudas, we mean Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's das. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he's das. Prabhupada, he's das. And I'm anudas. So to be das, to be an eternal servant of the Lord, means that you're completely pure, you're completely situated in the tattva, your spiritual tattva in truth. So to be das is very wonderful if we can come to that platform of actually being das. So we're anudas. That means we're not even das. We're thinking I am das. People ask you, what's your name? Oh, my name is Krishna Das. But actually I'm Krishna Anudas. I'm not yet das. I'm a das in training. Anudas means das in training. I'm being trained up. I'm practicing. Sadhana means practice. I'm practicing how to become das, how to become a servant. And this is our constitutional position. So even though Hiranyakashipu is a big demon, he still is behaving according to Vedic culture. So what is the difference between a demon and a devotee? Because the demons and the devotees in times past, in other yugas, they all followed Vedic culture. But why this group of demons following Vedic culture and this group of devotees following Vedic cultures? Because the devotees are wide awake. They're always fully conscious to serve the Lord. Whereas the demons, they want to take the place of the Lord. They want to be served. They want the position. They want to be glorified. So, according to Vedic culture, this is called demoniac. Asura. There are suras and asura. Sura, they're the Vaishnava devotees. Asura, they're not the devotees. They don't accept Krishna as supreme. They want to be supreme. So, Ashipu, he wants to be supreme. But still, we can see that he's following the Vedic culture. He does tapasya to get benediction. He sees Lord Brahma. He's offering dandavat pranams. So, Prabhupada is saying that we're all servants, which means that we are like officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and directors are engaged as representatives of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita as avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam. Vidhi purvakam means that I'm following correctly. Avidhi purvakam, I'm perfectly wrong. Instead of being perfectly right, I'm perfectly wrong. I'm completely wrong. Avidhi purvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of the demigods. So what does it mean, the unnecessary worship of the demigods? What is the necessary worship of the demigods and what is the unnecessary worship? What is the difference? Who knows? My hearing is not so good. Can someone repeat what he said?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Kala.
I'll try to say loudly. So I'm saying like when Brahmaji is worshipping Raja.
So that's unnecessary when we're worshiping the demigods instead of Krishna. But when we worship the demigods as servants of Krishna, that is proper. That is bhakti. Just like we worship Srila Prabhupada as a representative of Krishna. So we can worship Lakshmiji as a representative of Vishnu. This is correct. Therefore we say Lakshmi Narayan. We don't just say Lakshmi alone. She's always with Narayan. Sita Ram. We never worship Sita alone. She's always with Ram. Radha Parthasarati. When Krishna was fighting the battle in Kurukshetra, Radharani, she knew what was going on. And she was concerned. So she came in her subtle form to see that Krishna would be all right in the battle. This is what Prabhupada told us. This is Radha Parthasarati. Radharani is coming to make sure that Krishna will be safe in the battle. That if he needs help, she can give some Shakti without being seen. So, but people don't understand these things. People are in ignorance. So here Prabhupada is speaking about this, that the illegal, misunderstanding, improper, avidhi purvakam is due to ignorance and not accepting the authority of the Lord. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that there are many types of yajna performances, and they're all recommended in the Vedas, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. We do yajna to satisfy the Lord, to satisfy our Ishtadev, whether it's Krishna or Ram or Narasimha or Sri Gauranga. Everything is for the glorification and satisfaction of our Ishtadev. And Krishna expands himself in so many ways. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. He's Advait and he has Anantarupam simultaneously. He's one and many simultaneously, to allow us to be attracted to a particular form, to a particular lila, so that we become absorbed in that lila and develop a feeling in the heart for that Ananta Rup, one of those Ananta Rups of the Supreme Lord. So this is the meaning of Antarashtriya Krishna Bhavnamrit Sangha. It's not Krishna consciousness, which is a poor English translation, because in English there's no such word as Bhavnamrit. English is not such a good language. They don't have the word Bhavnamrit. But Bhavna means the feeling, and Amrit is the nectar that you're tasting from that feeling. So this is the Krishna Bhavnamrit Sangha, not the Krishna thinking of Krishna in the head Sangha, but the Bhavanamrit in the heart for Krishna. This is the lila that we want to understand. And so Prabhupada is explaining this, that when we do our puja for the Lord, it's coming from the heart. We're experiencing Bhavnamrit. And we experience that every day during the kirtan, during the artis. We're dancing in ecstasy. It's not some artificial impediment on the mind or that we're thinking this or that. We're experiencing Krishna Prema. But we're experiencing just a hint of Krishna Prema. Just the door is just slightly opening. We haven't entered into the Krishna Prema yet, but we're getting a taste. Not the whole meal. You know, Krishna has the whole meal and they just give you 1 grain of rice. But that taste is what we're getting here in our temple, and that taste keeps us going. So this is what Krishna is saying here. So there's many types of yajna, but yajna means Vishnu. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated one should work only for satisfying yajna or Vishnu. The perfectional form of human civilization, known as Varnashram Dharma, is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the Supreme Master. And we are the servants. And it's wonderful to be a servant of the Supreme Master. Why should I be a servant of some temporary master? Let me be the servant of the Supreme Master. Wow, this is great service. So this is wonderful. I was speaking earlier how I became attracted and left my Mayavad Guru to accept Prabhupada as my Sadguru, that I noticed the devotees were so humble. They were always offering obeisances to each other. So it's through this humility that Krishna is pleased, that Krishna gives us his Ashirvad. Because when we offer Dandavat Pranams to each other, Krishna is accepting it, that we're humble. We're offering humble Dandavat Pranams, which he has seen for many, many lifetimes we never did before. We had big ahankara, and now all of a sudden we're offering Dandavat Pranams. What a transformation! And who has accomplished this transformation? Prabhupada, Krishna's representative. He has accomplished this transformation, that we who were previously ahankaris have now become bhaktas. So, but less intelligent people, without knowing this fact, they worship the demigods. And why do they worship the demigods? They want some benefit. In other words, they're not worshiping the demigod out of love for the demigod. They're worshiping the demigod out of lust, that I will get something for me. I'm pretending that I'm worshiping you, but I'm only doing it because I get something for me. And if I don't get something for me, I won't worship you anymore. No. I want results. Otherwise, no puja from me. But the bhaktas, we have a different mood. The result for us is the bhavnamrit that we are experiencing through the seva. We don't require anything else. It's the seva that gives us that bhavnamrit, that gives us full satisfaction and happiness. And that's why Krishna says in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that when you become a devotee, susukam kartum, everything you do is joyfully performed. Susukam kartum avyayam. Avyayam means that never comes to an end. It's always increasing more and more and more as we become more and more purified. Pratyakshavagavam dharmyam. You experience directly this bhakti yoga dharma. And therefore, susukam kartum avyayam. Everything you do is joyfully performed. And so we're experiencing this. That's why we remain devotees. It's not an artificial imposition of the mind. It's not some belief system that I'm believing. I'm experiencing it directly. Therefore, I feel ananda. So, Prabhupada is saying that those people who worship the demigods for temporary benefit, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. They don't even know what is the desired goal of life, to go back home, back to Godhead. They have some vague idea, but they don't have knowledge. They don't have a teacher. They don't have a guide. They don't have a helping hand. They don't have someone who loves them so much, is giving them instruction every moment. And that is the Vaishnavas, representatives of Krishna. So Prabhupada says, if, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord. Although that's not real devotion, we're approaching the Lord with a material motive, but it's better than approaching the demigods with the material motive. And thus, eventually, they will achieve the desired result. So we approach Krishna for everything. Even when we are wrongly approaching with a misunderstanding for our own benefit, the very fact that we're approaching Krishna, he sees it as that we're approaching him to worship him. The perfect example, there's many examples, but my favorite example is Putana. Putana, she just came to kill Krishna. She had no love for Krishna. She had no love for children. Can you imagine? She got happiness from killing children. But she was a demon. She had Shakti. She didn't have Bhakti, but she had Shakti. So she took the form of a beautiful young woman because Kamsa had given her an instruction. Go and find this Krishna and kill him because it's prophesied that he will kill me, so you kill him first. So she comes to Vrindavan, first time ever in Vrindavan. Demons don't go to Vrindavan. So she's appearing as a lovely young lady, so she asks the first person she sees, you know the house of Nanda Yashoda? Oh yes, just go to the left, then turn right, and go 100 meters on the left. That is their residence. So she goes there, knocks on the door, and Yashoda Mai comes, little baby Gopal. He's just a bacha, chota bacha. And she said, yes, can I help you? She's never seen Putana before, but she's seeing Putana as a beautiful young lady. She said, yeah, I just came to see your Krishna. I've heard that he is the most glorious child ever. He's the most beautiful. Everyone is glorifying him. And I was just thinking, I must have darshan of this child. So Mother Yashoda was pleased. Oh, she's appreciating my Krishna. She said, oh yes. And then Putana said, if I could just hold your Krishna in my arms for just 5 seconds, my life will be perfect. So Mother Yashoda was thinking, oh, she's so sweet. She's such a devotee. She loves my Krishna so much. And Yashoda Mai, she's very soft-hearted. She's such a Bhakta Vaishnava. She's the topmost Uttam Vaishnavi. So she, yes, okay, you can hold my Krishna just 5 seconds only. So Putana takes Krishna. Now, she had previously smeared poison on her breast. Now she's going to put Krishna to that poison and kill him. This was her plan. But I remember when Prabhupada was telling us this Leela in the class, Prabhupada said, but Krishna always takes the bright side. That's what he said. Krishna always takes the bright side. Oh, she's approaching me like mother. So he accepted that she's approaching him like a mother. In other words, Krishna found something good in the way Putana was approaching. Now it was 100% bad. There was nothing good there. But Krishna always takes the bright side. Even though something is 100% bad, he sees something good. Oh, she's approaching me like a mother. So he sucks out her life's airs, destroys that body, and the spirit soul, the Atma of Putana, goes back to Vaikuntha. This is Krishna Kripa. So our situation is so much better than Putana's. So if Putana got Krishna Kripa, we have a good future. Our future is also very bright. We should feel happy. Because Prabhupada says that even if we approach Krishna with material desires, we will achieve it, the desired success eventually. So although Hiranyakashipu offered his obeisances unto Lord Brahma, he was strongly inimical towards Lord Vishnu. Why he was inimical to Lord Vishnu? Because Lord Vishnu was his enemy. He had killed his brother, Hiranyaksha. Therefore, he's my enemy. I have to avenge the death of my brother, Hiranyaksha. So this is the symptom of an asura. He sees Krishna, he sees the Lord as his enemy. Asuras worship the demigods as being separate from the Lord, not knowing that all the demigods are powerful only because of being servants of the Lord. And this is why we, Vaishnavas, here living in the temple, we become powerful only because we are servants of the Lord. Now that we are servants of the Lord, we can go into the city of Delhi and we can approach anybody and we can say, take this book, give a donation, do this, do that seva. We have power because we're servants of Krishna. And previously we could not even speak to any person who was older than us. Now we are coming and instructing them how to become engaged in Krishna seva. This is how we become empowered, by becoming servants of Krishna, servants of the Lord. So if the Supreme Lord were to withdraw the powers of the demigods, then the demigods would no longer be able to offer benedictions to their worshippers. So we understand that. They are empowered by the Lord. They are Shakgavesh. Why? Because they're advanced devotees. Hanuman, advanced devotees. All the devatas, they're advanced devotees of the Lord. Ganesh, advanced devotee. Therefore, they have powers given to them by Krishna. But if they were not servants of the Lord, their powers would be withdrawn and they would no longer be able to offer any benedictions to their worshippers. So then Prabhupada gives a conclusion. The difference between a devotee and a non-devotee, or a sura, is that a devotee knows that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that everyone derives power from him. Everyone derives power from the Supreme Lord. Just like, for example, one time Prabhupada was giving class. One evening he was giving Bhagavad Gita class. And he said, we don't have any power. We don't even have the power to see. It was an evening class on Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada turned to one devotee, said, turn off the lights. Turned off the lights. It was pitch black in the temple room. Prabhupada said, where is your power to see? So turn the lights on, now we're able to see. So we don't have any independent power to see. We're dependent on light, and that light comes from Krishna. So Prabhupada continues, without worshipping the demigods for particular powers, a devotee worships Lord Vishnu, knowing that if he desires a particular power, he can get that power while acting as Lord Vishnu's devotee. And then Prabhupada quotes one of the most famous slokas in the Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, sloka number 10. Akama sarva kamo va moksha karma udadati, vibrena bhakti yogena yacheta purusham param. that akama, if you have no desires, you're desireless. Or sarvakama, if you have full desires. Moksha karma, or if you only want moksha, whatever it is that you desire. Tivrena bhakti yogena, then strictly, strongly, and firmly practice bhakti yoga. Yajeta purusham param. Because then you get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desires, free from material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the Personality of Godhead. So even if a person has material desires, which we still have, all of us, we still have material desires. What do we do with these material desires? Well, first he's going to tell you, Prabhupada's going to tell you, that instead of worshiping the demigods, you pray to the Supreme Lord. You come to the Supreme Lord, I have material desires. And once you're connected to Krishna, Krishna can either purify you from these material desires, or he can let you have some material desire to increase your preaching. But when we approach the Lord, he gives us his mercy. And his mercy, we don't know what his mercy is. Sometimes it's to take away. Sometimes it's to give. And Prabhupada told us that when he was a little boy, his father told him, Krishna gives with 100 hands, he also takes away with 100 hands. So we should always approach Krishna. So by approaching Krishna, our connection with the Supreme Lord will be established, even if we approach him with material desires, and therefore we will be saved from becoming a demon or a non-devotee. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya gives the following quotation from the Brahmatarka. Ekastana ikakartyatva Vishnu pradayantasvata jivasyatat ajinatvam na vinadi tamvacha. Since Vishnu is supreme, by worshipping Vishnu, one can fulfill all one's desires. There's no need to divert one's attention to any demigod. So this is the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the teaching of Prabhupada. We give our full focus of attention, our full service, our full heart, our full consciousness, our full mind, our full energy to Krishna. Whether it's pure or not pure, we approach Krishna, and in due course of time, everything becomes purified. This is Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Krishna hai? You have to give the microphone or come to the front. Das is pure devotee. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Das. Prabhupada is Das. Anudas is someone who's in training to be a devotee. Just like when you're a young boy, you go to school to learn Hindi, to learn the alphabet. You're in training. Okay? That's Anudas. You're in training. You're not Das. Das is pure devotee, servant of the Lord, eternal servant of the Lord. We're not at that level. We're in training to become Das. Okay? So the question is that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, I am revealing this knowledge, this eternal knowledge to you because you're non-envious of me. So he asks the question, people that don't accept Krishna, is it because they're envious? Himsa. Yes, ahimsa means non-envious and himsa means envious. We're only in this material world due to envy. Everybody is envious. We're envious of our neighbors. We're envious of the people who are our boss. We're envious of people who are in a higher position than us, who have more money than us. We're envious of the Lord. We're envious of everybody. That's why we don't surrender. That's why we're in the material world. So purification means to become purified from envy. Because when you become purified from envy, you accept everything as the mercy and desire of the Lord. Whatever happens to me is Krishna Kripa. So if I'm free from envy, I see everything as Krishna Kripa. Therefore, I don't get angry. Krodh is finished because I accept this bird. He says, I deserve this. This is Krishna's mercy. Calm, I have no more desire. I just want Krishna Kripa. I just want to serve Krishna. You become free from envy. Krodh disappears. Calm disappears. Mada disappears. You're not interested in intoxication. You just want to establish loving service to the Lord. Moha, illusion disappears. Loathe disappears. You're not greedy. All you want is to serve the Lord. So when you become free from envy, all the 6 enemies try to be destroyed. So we have to become free from envy. And envy is the cause of all our problems in the material world. And there's a special mantra in the Vedas to become free from envy. I'll teach it to you. It goes like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You chant this mantra day and night, externally, internally, Vairanga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, and you become free from envy. And loving devotional service will become established in your heart as an irrevocable practice. You go back home, back to God at the end of this life. This is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the mission of Prabhupada. They didn't come here so they could take another birth. They came here, Janma ho gaya, Ekdam ho gaya. Back to home, back to God. Thank you very much.